Hello and welcome to Good Goal or Bad Defending. This is Man United against Spurs. Spurs it up again. And here we are. United have kind of walked the ball through, but this is another impressive line of how defenders... How's he unmarked? Honestly, just look at it right now. This defender could come across, but and this has nothing to do with the goal. This is me watching just awful defending in the Premier League. So, look, there's all these guys. Oh my God, there's the football. Yeah, okay. The guy closest to the football should be pressuring the football. The rest of you should be paying attention to this Marcus Rashford guy who's just sneaking in. Look, Mini Rat is just completely unmarked. There's so much space that they're giving away. I don't understand it. I don't understand why you're so bunched up. But here we go. Jadon Sancho picks the ball up with not a Tottenham player anywhere near him. Just nowhere near him. And he does this. Wait. My apologies. He does that. Boof. Smacks it into the bottom corner. Fantastic goal. Maybe is he now worth the 100 million? No, he's not. No, but that's what United paid for him. Because Gary Neville ran his mouth so much on Sky Sports about how wonderful Jadon Sancho was. I think that's probably the first goal we scored in about 10 or 15 games or done anything. Quite frankly, though, all these Spurs defenders, look, they still haven't moved. They're all still looking at the ball going into the back of the net because, well, they weren't doing anything in the first place. Terrible defending, but it's still a good goal. Well done, Sancho. You actually did a thing that you were paid to do. Proud of you. Yeah, £100 million price tag is... still a waste of money. As much as I rag on the babies in the Premier League for being rubbish at the football, this is actually some good defending. So I'm going to have to do this clip here because the Spurs, he did some good defending here. This guy, shot comes in, does a great job of blocking it because he doesn't trust his keeper. Understandably, because he's a bit rubbish too. Does a great job doing that. Next thing we know, boom, comes back here, blocked that. Everyone's alert. Fantastic. This guy's getting ready. He's looking at the post, thinking he's going to save that too. Doing a good job. Is that Mini? No, is that Rat? That's not Rat. There's Rat. That's Mini Rat. Sorry, Mini Rat wants the ball because he thinks the game's all about him. In comes the next shot. Bump. Takes a deflection, but there's somebody on the line who actually knows a little bit about football and does a good job and defends it off the line. Good sequence of defending there from the Spursy. Well done. Even though pretty much the other goal was rubbish that you let in, that was some good defending. You did a good job. Okay, so here we go. Rat just played a ball over the top. I think this is Rashford running onto it. Now, let me explain to you some sort of coaching law. When you've got a good player, or, well, not a good player, I take that back. When you've got a striker that can do certain things or certain aspects, you say they can run a bit and they can kick a bit. That's Marcus Rashford. He can run a bit and he can kick a bit. So what does that mean? Coaches, we know exactly what we're trying to get across on that point. It's a long point that we're trying to sort of explain to people, and a simple thing. To another coach, we go, I can run a bit and kick a bit. What that means is he's really fast. If the ball is played in front of him, he can run onto it and he can smack it in the goal. He can run a bit and he can kick a bit. Is his shot decent? Yes. Is he fast-paced? Yes. Can he do that? Yes. Can he make combination plays? No. Because otherwise we would say that. We just say he can run a bit and he can kick a bit. The classic example here of Marcus Rashford, he can run a bit, the ball's gone in. That's his bread and butter. That's what he wants. This is the ball he wants. All that space in the world there. He can run a bit and he can kick a bit. He loves it. Off he goes. He's going to get this. No problem. No questions asked. In he goes, bumpty bump. Now he's 1v1, and the next thing you know, the ball's in the back of the net. That's what we mean about a player can run a bit and he can kick a bit. If he has to beat the player himself into the space, he can't do it. If the space is already there because the pass has already created the space, Rashford is always going to beat you to it. That's what he needs. He doesn't have the ability to beat you 1v1 from the halfway line and outrun you and score. He needs the ball to be there into the space because he can run a bit and he can kick a bit. If you're starting to understand what I mean. Normally it would take me, if I'm doing a coaching course, it'd take me about 15-20 minutes to break that down and explaining proper detail exactly what I'm talking about. But as you can see, he can run a bit and he can kick a bit. And that's what you get right there. Okay, this goal was a complete and utter mess. This is United throwing the game away, just in United fashion. That's why I call United now Instagram FC. They can be so far ahead in the game. They could have probably scored more goals, but they don't. They just go, all the great players before us are wearing my shirt. No, they're not. And half of them don't deserve to wear the shirt. And they don't understand that. They just think because you're 2-0 up, you're going to win the game. It's not how it works. This guy bends the ball the outside of his foot into this area. It's kind of a nothing, honestly, it's a nothing ball. It's an absolute nothing pass. Let's have a look. Boom, off it goes. It's a nothing pass. Here is this absolute clown. If you've got somebody like this, Richarlison, on your football team, kick him out your team right now. This guy is a complete waste of space. As a human being, I don't know what he's doing. He gets a little nudge in the back. Watch what he does. He flails his arms like you're important or something, and no one... Dude, no one cares, Richarlison. You're just a terrible Premier League striker. God knows how you're still here. It might be because you've got a muppet haircut or a really good agent, but it's not because you still score goals or do anything. So if we watch him dive. Oh, look at him. Look at how far he's thrown his hands. Oh, look at him. That is just embarrassing. That is a grown man acting like he's been shot, taking his legs off. Look, that's a grown man. His legs are gone. Look, his legs are up here. His arms are out here. That's a grown man. He's acted that way in a professional football game, and he's probably getting paid, 100 to 200 grand a year. A year. Apologies, a week. But what happens is United switch off. Everyone in United switched off. Look at these guys. Everyone stood still. Everyone stood still. Watching Richarlison dive. And then this happens. Ball bounces out. Comes here. This idiot's claiming for a penalty. Somehow he trains with Richarlison every day. Should know that Richarlison's a clown. And it's not worth it. Ball bounces back out. Pop. Another. This is what I kind of like, actually. The cross in originally. The was an outside of the football. Now this was a ball with the outside of the foot, and this is where the ball goes in the back of the net. If United didn't stop, excuse me, too much vodka, they would have got rid of that ball. They didn't, and Spursy just get a goal back. That's embarrassing. That's just embarrassing. And Richarlison's still on the ground like a clown. I'm going to show this goal in a couple of screenshots to get you really understanding of how bad Man United started to play. So they've just humped the ball forward because bad footballers, instead of passing it out and doing whatever. And this is what happens when you play against quality opposition. And by the way, Spurs isn't that quality, but this is what happens. The ball comes over, it's headed in here into this area, and all of a sudden everything changes. You've just smashed the ball forward. As I told you about Rashford, he can't head the ball. He's not bringing it down. What he can do is he can run a bit and he can kick a bit. If it's in front of him, he can run and finish it all day long. It reminds me of Michael Owen, who was given too much credit as a goal scorer. Michael Owen, he could run a bit and he could kick a bit. He couldn't beat you 1v1 unless he just kicked it into the space and ran past you. That's all he could do, run a bit and kick a bit. So the ball comes straight back in, and then look what happens. Boomf. Harry Kane looked probably a couple of minutes before for a ball for Song that he should have scored. Actually, Tottenham probably should have won this game in the second half, the amount of chances that they just messed up. All of a sudden, because United just smashed the ball forward and they immediately lost it, and it's come straight back on transition, they're in trouble. Kane has got nobody in front of him. This guy has got nobody in front of him. He's got nobody in front of him. He can't be goal side. The only thing he can do is shut Kane down, which is a bad move because he's right next to this player. How does anyone here from Man United defend this? They can't, because it's a transitional ball that was kicked forward and immediately came back. So they're completely caught off guard. There's 1, 2, 3, like what the idiots on some TV show like Sky Sports or ESPN would say, oh yeah, it's 3v3, look. No, it's not. Because none of these people are goal side. None of these guys are goal side to the Tottenham players. So technically they're not 3v3. It's 3 Tottenham players running at the goal. There isn't anyone goal side, so how are they defending? Just because they're in the vicinity of the player doesn't mean they're actually marking them or actually be able to stop them doing what they're doing. And then look what happens. Boomf. He comes across. Actually, I didn't know he was doing that. That's what I would have suggested he did, actually. Came over the cross. But of course, Harry Kane knew that. The problem when he's come across, there's 2 players that are wide open now. The ball goes in, and the finish happens, and it's 2-2. Straight from the fact that they kicked the ball away instead of trying to pass the ball out of the back. And of course, Rashford couldn't hold it up because he's not that type of player. Don't kick it up in the air and expect him to hold it up, because he can only just run a bit and kick a bit.